Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Chris Lee Kennedy, and this is the show that we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
We also have joining us AMC's very own Miri Jetikin.
Hi everybody! Yay, it's Friday!
Yay!
Can I sing that song?
Sort
No,
of.
I won't sing that song.
It's sort of Friday. It's
Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday.
But tomorrow
Really? Thursday!
So it's sort of Friday.
Friday in my mind.
Yeah. We also have joining us AMC's Christian Harloff.
What's going on? And I will just say we're about a week and a day before Apes on Horses. That's all I'm saying.
I'm so excited for that.
And we have very special guest today, Don Kay from denofgeek.us and Blaster.com.
Hi, everybody. Yes, they let me out of the hospital again to come here, so I'm very happy to be back at the table with you guys.
We're glad to have you. And hey, listen, I wanted to let you, there's a couple things I need to let you guys know. First, I'm going to start with Comic-Con. I want to remind you guys again that Comic-Con is coming up, obviously, at San Diego Comic-Con, just a couple of weeks away now, which is actually kind of freaking me out a little bit. And we, as always, are having our annual Masters of the Web panel, and this year it's our special theme on the Masters of the Web panel is comic book movies. And this year, instead of traditional webmasters, we're going to have YouTube movie personalities. So we're going to have folks like, well, I don't know, maybe sitting at this table, Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis from Fandango and DC All Access. We're going to have Tiffany Smith from Jeremy Johns as Jeremy Johns. We got John Schnepp, we got me. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and I can't remember who that was. No, I don't think we're forgetting anybody. And we have a very special guest. Since we're talking about comic book movies, the man who has played the best comic book villain on TV the last few years, Mr. Manu Bennett, of course, from Arrow, from Spartacus, from The Hobbit. He's going to be our special guest this year. I'm really excited about that. So keep your eyes open for that. And I got a very special announcement. You know, some of us on AMC Movie Talk have a little bit of background in like either screenwriting or filmmaking. And we have a new film in production at AMC Movie News, and it is called Dennis and Silent Schnepp. And we got our first image of it here. Yeah,
I love that hair.
Dennis and Silent Schnepp. Watch for it in an AMC theater near you. No, I can't even remember. One of our viewers sent this graphic into us, which is just crazy. And which reminds me, I should let you guys know about this. Starting next week, for at least a few Fridays, what we're going to do is we literally get dozens and dozens and dozens of pieces of fan art from you guys, like some of the craziest stuff, including that Silent Schnepp picture. And what we're going to start doing is on Fridays is we're going to start highlighting some of the best pieces of fan art that you guys send in. So keep sending in that fan art, and on Fridays you may see your work of art highlighted on the show. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's get to the movie news.
That was lots of exciting information. All right, Warner Brothers has released the first official look at Henry Cavill as Superman in the upcoming Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. In the image, we see the last son of Krypton standing on a rooftop of what appears to be Gotham City. Batman vs. Superman hits AMC theaters on May 6, 2016. John, what do you think about this image?
Yay! I'm real excited. Look, seriously, think about this. I mean, this picture is awesome. There are some minor detail changes in the outfit. I think the belt is one of the things that stands out to me the most. Cavill is clearly bulked up a bit.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to be completely outdone by Affleck because we've seen pictures of Affleck lately and he's getting really huge. Seeing the hair is starting to look a little more classic Superman. Yeah. Seeing him standing there in the rain in that classic Gotham kind of layout. We're assuming it's Gotham, could be Detroit, I suppose, but it looks like Gotham City to me. This is great, and really, it's once again, it's that whole thing to me. It's like we know the movie's coming, but it's once you start seeing pictures of the script or pictures on set, it's that tangibilization of it that gets me excited. No, I've totally made that one up.
I think it's a good one.
But here's the thing, really, when you think about it, with all the doubts and all the naysayers about the movie, think about this for a second. The Gal Gadot thing aside, the Ben Affleck casting, I still contend, was a stroke of genius. I thought that was the best move they could have made, and I'm really happy with it. I love Cavill as Superman. I love the supporting cast around them. Jeremy Irons is going to be Alfred. I like kind of the story. I like that they've got, for the first time, my biggest critique about Warner Brothers has always been no plan. No plan. They've always been reactionary for like the last 10 years and just kind of doing, well, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do this. Now we actually see it's got a plan. I am liking everything I've seen about this movie so far. Could be a giant pile of crap. but I like this picture. It makes me excited. So yeah, that's me. What about you, Mary?
I agree. I saw this and I got like the shivers, the good shivers. They're like, ooh, this is going to be really good. I actually really liked Man of Steel. I know a lot of people maybe
loved
didn't.
Man of Steel.
I really liked it. It had some pacing issues and it wasn't perfect, but I really liked it. I liked the direction that Zack Snyder went in. And if you read the article that actually came along with this, it was in USA Today that they released this. And Zack Snyder said a bunch of stuff. He said that, you know, Batman is going to be older and more weary, and it's fun to see like an old guy kicking the snot out of people.
Kicking the crap out of people,
and
yeah.
I'm excited about that. I mean, it looks like Gotham. It doesn't really have a Metropolis-y look, but you know, they did destroy Metropolis in the last film, so you don't really know. And I like the idea that Superman his universe is expanding along with us as the audience. We're watching his world expand, and it's leading into the Justice League. And I think that the casting choices have been great so far with, you know, announcing Jesse Eisenberg and then Scoot McNairy. Like, they're choosing real heavyweight actors that know what they're doing. And these are actors that don't usually choose material based on financial, you know, they're not driven financially, they're driven by content. So I think it's kind of exciting that, I don't know, I feel like this poster says a lot of that stuff without having to say it. Like, look, this is a confident image. This is like, we're putting out something great.
Don?
I think it is a strong image. He definitely looks a little more like he's coming into his own as Superman. It's a little more classical Superman image, as we noted. It's got that kind of Warner Brothers, dark, rainy, sad, gloomy.
The Nolan influences there.
The Nolan
I hate
influence.
saying that. Everybody talks, but it's true. This image does have that
They're
Nolan influence.
definitely
Yeah.
still. So in one way, maybe that's good, because maybe in some way they are trying to have some sort of continuity from those movies. And I've heard a little bit that there is maybe a little bit of a continuity going on, that they're trying to not leave the Nolan movies alone in their own completely separate universe, that there maybe is sort of a tenuous connection there that they're trying to establish. As far as the rest of it, you know, we'll see. I think that the casting is interesting. I was definitely okay with Affleck. I don't really know a lot about Gal Gadot, so I'm curious to see what she does. All the other rumors we've heard about who else is in this movie, or at least making cameos in this movie, and what the plan going forward is. I have suspicions that plan is not quite as well organized as maybe you think it is.
But it's a plan. I'm just going to give them props for that.
It's a plan, and we'll really see if how well they bring that plan to fruition. And then the big thing to me is always going to be the script. We know Zack Snyder can shoot the hell out of anything. He's an incredible visual director. But the story is going to be most important, and that is often where his films have fallen down. So we'll see. I'm curious. I'm not going to be a naysayer about this. I mean, part of me is very, very excited. We have to wait and see what else comes up.
Christian?
I love the image, and what I said it this morning on like my Instagram is when I posted this thing was the fact that you can say whatever you want about Man of Steel, whether you loved it or not. That dude is Superman.
Yeah.
That is
Agreed.
Superman
That's
right
Superman.
there.
If you, it's like if an artist just sat down, wrote, sketched out a picture of Superman, that was what he came up with. That's a great Superman, dude.
Yeah.
Well done. What I also think is there's a nice strategy behind it. I think at least for this movie there is a plan. I don't know about the ultimate plan, but for this movie there is a plan, because even the movie is called Batman v Superman. First image we get, Batman brooding by the car. Next one, Superman. So it's not Batman and Superman together. It's by myself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guess what's coming out? See,
Yeah.
it's they're setting it up like almost like a boxing match. What happens at the end of the film? Who knows? But as far as how it starts, yeah, I mean, look, how could you not be excited? The guy might be standing in Gotham getting ready to fight Batman and God knows who else.
Well, he said in the article, he said that the reason they did V and not versus is because this is not a straight up Batman versus Superman. He wanted it to have more complexity, more shades of gray. So
But in the same article, he did say we are taking our cues from The Dark Knight Returns, which of course is a Batman versus Superman thing.
Yeah.
It's just, I get excited when I think about it. All right, what's
Sorry
next?
to cut you off.
A brand new trailer for the upcoming film Foxcatcher has hit the web. The film stars Channing Tatum, Mark Ruffalo, and Steve Carell. Based on true events, Foxcatcher tells the dark and fascinating story of the unlikely and ultimately tragic relationship between an eccentric multimillionaire and two champion wrestlers. Foxcatcher hits AMC theaters on November 14th. Christian, what do you think about this new trailer for Foxcatcher?
Get the gold statues ready.
Yeah.
This story has a lot of creepiness involved for sure. It has a lot of intensity from everyone involved. You can tell. I mean, just Channing Tatum smashing his head against the mirror in the one scene, and then Carell going to a dark place. I don't think we've ever seen him go. I mean, the way back he was, a jerk, but not this.
Yeah.
The one person I'm giving so much credit to for this, I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but what Mark Ruffalo has done as an actor, just in general, but
Unrecognizable. at
unrecognizable in
first.
a lot of different things that he's been in. This movie in particular, because of what has happened in his true life, to be able as an actor do this. I think you're going to hear a lot about him and where he was able to go in this movie. But let's talk, as far as Tatum goes. For what he did with 21 Jump Street, getting into the comedy, like going, oh wait, he can't do that. Oh yes, he can.
Right.
22 Jump Street, you see him do it again. But this is Magic Mike. What he's doing as an actor now, you're like, this guy he's here to play. So maybe me accepting him more as Gambit is going to happen too.
See, look, there's a moment in this trailer that sent shivers up my spine, and it's the most subtle little thing. It's that little thing where Channing Tatum saying, I want to be this, I want to be this. And then all this Krell going, good. And then, slight pause, and then, that's it. There's that little breath he did that for me it just filled the screen to me. This one little, it was like, I've never seen Carell like this. I'm going to be honest with you though, I still have my reservations about Channing Tatum. Now, I had massive reservations. I thought he was basically useless prior to 21 Jump Street. Prior to The Dilemma that he was in with Vince Vaughn and Kevin James. Then he appeared in that film in a small comedy role. And I thought, it was the first time that I went, wow, he might have found his niche here, comedy. Then 21 Jump Street came out, which I was sure was going to be horrible. And he owned it in comedy. It's like he has found his niche in comedy. 22 Jump Street. But as of now, and I'm waiting for it to change, and it's going to change at some point, but as of now, I've not been impressed with anything he's done dramatically.
Even Magic Mike?
I wasn't even really impressed with his turn in Magic Mike. I really wasn't impressed with him in Side Effects. But I do know this. He has been working his ass off for the last 5 years. For the last 5 years, he has been working his ass off. He doesn't want to be good. He wants to be great.
You can buy him as a wrestler.
And if he keeps working, and if he keeps working like that, it's going to come. And maybe this is one that'll do it, Don.
Yeah, I think, first of all, the trailer plays almost like a horror movie trailer. I mean, it's so creepy. And there's a lot to this, from what I understand. There's a lot of depths to this story that it touches on that I don't even think the trailer even gets into too much. But I think potentially the movie is I think we already know that Ruffalo is capable of a lot of great stuff, and I think it's potentially a game changer for Tatum and certainly for Carell, who looks, I mean, he's just going places that we've never seen him go before. And so I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about seeing the three of them, what they do, and what this story is about. This director has made a couple of great movies before this. I think Moneyball was a really sort of not underrated because it got great reviews, but kind of an underappreciated film when it came out. And I'm really excited to see it.
And of course, Capote.
And of course, Capote, yes.
And when you're talking about this acting cast, what did he do in those other movies? Just got them Oscar nominations and an Oscar win. I mean, so that's all coming, Miri.
Yeah, I love this trailer. As a follow-up trailer goes, I think it did a great job of giving a little bit more information about the characters and the world that's being explored here. I think it did a great job of, again, you've all mentioned the creepiness, but it's very visceral. There's a ferocity in the performances, and I think you really get a sense of that when you watch this trailer. I also feel like, you know, I love sports movies. I grew up on Slapshot. I'm from Montreal. It's like kind of part of my blood. But the sports movies to me that really transcend the genre are the ones that use sports as a backdrop for telling a really compelling human story. I think it's true for all film.
Right.
But specifically with sports, I think it's very clear that this is not about, you know, wrestling. It's not about a sport. This is about a very weird, dysfunctional relationship with a very eccentric guy and a man who's just so motivated by his own hubris and his own desire to win, and he has that competitive sportsman mentality, and seeing those two collide and come together, and this is based on a true story, I feel like all of those elements are really represented well in this very small trailer. So I'm very excited for this movie. I can't wait to
super
see it.
stoked. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for buy and sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then Miri, Christian, Don, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Although it was suggested as a strong possibility before, The Expendables 3 has now officially received a PG-13 rating from the MPAA for violence including intense, sustained gun battles and fight scenes, and for language. This marks the first Expendables movie to not be rated R. Miri, buy or sell The Expendables 3 being rated PG-13?
I'm going to sell this, and I'm not going to sell it for the reasons why people would think I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it because I think the entire rating system is broken, and I think that this is just an example of the fact that this probably could be an R-rated movie, but they want a bigger audience. They want more dollars. I think Sylvester Stallone even said something at Cannes about,
yeah, he did.
You know, we wanted this to reach as many people as possible, which is another way of saying, you know, we want dollars. We want more people in the theaters, which is fine. That's great. The problem with the rating system is that, you know, it's if you actually go online and you research what the parameters are around PG-13 and R-rated movies, it's so vague. And it's so all over the place. There's a couple of things.
Well, it's a very subjective system.
It is,
but it has to be. It's the movies.
Exactly. So that's why it's kind of like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. There's one thing where it's like you can only have one expletive in a PG-13 movie as opposed to many in an R-rated. There's some differences, but you know, great movies have been PG-13 movies. You've got The Bourne Ultimatum and The Bourne Identity were both PG-13. The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises were both PG-13. There are a lot of great films that are PG-13 that are extremely violent. So this could still be very much an Expendables movie. It could still feel like an Expendables movie. To me, it's not about that. It's about the fact that it shouldn't even really matter because the rating system is so whack to me.
Well,
so.
it's a system, but I actually think the system works pretty okay with some major flaws, obviously. But for me, I'm going to buy this, and the reason I'm going to buy this is because I don't think anybody will be able to tell the difference. To be honest, I think the only difference is going to be in a scene where Jason Statham is going to take his knife and stab 3 guys in the chest all at once. In the R-rated version, when he pulls his knife out, you see some blood splatter. In this version, you won't see blood splatter. I honestly, I think that will be the only thing, because I remember they did the same thing with that one Die Hard movie. Remember the first one they did with Timothy Olyphant was the villain, and his first one they did that was PG-13. Honestly, I watched that film and I'm like, except for that he didn't say yippee-ki-yay mother and complete the sentence,
once.
but he didn't complete the sentence. And besides the fact that I didn't see blood a lot, to me it didn't feel a lot different. So for me it's a sell, or for me it's a buy, I mean.
I am going to sell it. I hate it. I hate it, because using Mira's example of The Dark Knight Rises and the Bourne movies, those movies started as PG-13 movies.
Yeah.
This movie the whole point of it was that it was based off of what we loved in the 80s in the action movie. And that was the over-the-top blood. And I don't want to hear Arnold go, "Okay, mother, father." I want to hear him say it. I want to hear him say it.
I just want to hear you do Arnold all day.
That's the thing, is I want to hear him say these things. You already set me into this tone. These movies are not great. They're fun because they're over the top with blood, and they're again going against from like the Bourne Ultimatum and Dark Knight is the fact that those are complex stories with characters. This isn't that. This is, I want to see heads blow up. I want to see the machine guns. I want to see the cursing, the back and forth between these guys. And he's just going after the dollars, and it pisses me off, to be honest.
Don?
Yeah, I'm with Christian. It's a sell for me for that very reason. I mean, these are based, or sort of a homage in a way, to a very specific type of movie that people grew up watching, and that you went to expecting to see a lot of that stuff. You expected to see the blood splashing when he pulls the knife out of the chest. And the other thing is really, who are they? What audience are they trying to reach by expanding the PG-13?
All those 12-year-olds that saw all those Arnold movies, right?
Exactly. I mean, you know, maybe some of them are going back and rediscovering all those films, but I think that the audience for this, what audience there is older because they have memories of those films, and they're the ones that are primarily going to go see it, and they're going to be disappointed, and in the end, nobody's going to be happy.
All right, what's next?
I was like, wait, we're not going to the next part yet. Tina Fey continues to keep herself busy following the conclusion of her TV series 30 Rock. It's being reported that Fey has just signed on to star and produce in a new Disney untitled witch project, which is not the rumored sequel to the 1993 film Hocus Pocus. As a producer, Fey will be joined by Hunger Games Catching Fire executive producer Allison Shermer. Don, buy or sell Fey doing a Disney witch film?
I'll buy that. Tina Fey, I think, has tremendous comedic chops, tremendous screen presence. She's, even when the material's not that great, she's great to watch. She can, I kind of think she can do whatever she wants right now. A Disney witch movie, why not? I'm not the audience for a Disney witch movie, but I like Tina Fey, and I could see her totally going with this.
Christian?
I'm just going to sell it in the fact that I know that I'm not the audience for it, and I like the other Tina Fey movie we were talking about the other day, the Baghdad movie. Is that
The Nest.
Yeah.
No. That's the I can't remember the name of it.
The one that she's
Taliban Shuffle.
Taliban Shuffle.
Yes.
That one to me is more like what I would like to see. This one, it's just like a Disney niche. I think everyone's trying to lock into until I see a trailer. But for now, going to sell it.
I'm going to buy it just on Tina Fey's personality alone. And she's keeping herself busy. Not only does she have that Taliban shuffle coming up, she's working on the Sean Levy film with Jason Bateman called This Is Where I Leave You, which is kind of like a dramedy. Then she's got that one she's doing with Amy Poehler and John Cena called The Nest. And she's got a ton of stuff coming up. And I am looking forward to this new age of Tina Fey movies. And, hopefully they live up to what I'm hoping they're going to be. So for me, it's a buy.
It's a sell simply because she is everywhere right now. She is doing so many things. I would like to see her do something different. That's all.
All right, what's next?
The upcoming Fast and Furious 7 has just moved its release date up a week from April 10th, 2015 to April 3rd, 2015. The new April 3rd date will put Fast and Furious up against the new Nicholas Sparks adaptation, The Longest Ride. John, buy or sell the new date for Fast and Furious 7.
In the great book, The Art of War, we are instructed by the great general to attack your enemy where they are weak. And it's right now the lion that is known as Fast and the Furious sees a little limp gazelle limping along on that April 3rd date in that Nicholas Sparks movie and decides that is where we attack. This is a great move. I buy this. This makes a lot of business sense. And anything that gets the movie into our hands a little bit sooner is always good with me, so I'm good with it. Mary?
Yeah, I buy it. I also think this movie is going to do amazingly well regardless because you got James Wan in the director's chair and you have the late Paul Walker. Everybody's going to want to come out and see him. And you got Dwayne Johnson. Now you have Jason Statham joining. So, yeah, it's going to do well anyway.
Christian?
Yeah, I'd buy it because it's also April is the new start of the summer movie season. As you saw with Captain America.
Like
Winter
2 years
Soldier.
ago, it's like, what? We moved the summer movie season to as early as May, and now it's April.
Littler movies are going to have to be aware of that now because the Nicholas Sparks movie is like, hey, we'll be safe. So, this is a great move on their point by.
Done?
Yeah, total buy. It's a win for Fast and Furious. They can go wherever they want. And as far as what they're up against, I mean, it's just classic. The Longest Ride creates a classic counter programming move for anyone who doesn't. The three people who don't want to go see Fast and Furious that weekend.
So wait, you're not all going to go see the Nicholas Sparks movie first? I don't understand.
Well, I didn't say
I'm very
that. I just said it was a
confused.
good move.
I'm going to go to both in the same night.
Good.
One right from one to the other.
Double feature.
Wasn't The Lion the Nicholas Sparks one?
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, every day we take a little bit of time to take your questions, but listen, we're also going to save a little bit of time at the end of the show to take your live Twitter questions. If you're watching us live, and we do this show live every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can tweet to us at AMC Movie News. At the end of the show, Crystal Lee will be our gatekeeper and pick a couple questions from there. But for now, it's time for Mailbag. So, Crystal Lee, what do we got?
Carlos Smith writes, hello, AMC Movie Talk. I never miss an episode. Was wondering, what is the movie you have seen the most times while it was in theaters? John, this is a tough one for you.
No, this one's easy for me. It's hard to admit, though.
I know it is.
Phantom Menace. I saw the Phantom Menace in theaters 18 times.
Wow.
And this is long before my movie blogging journalism days where I paid for every ticket that I went to go see. 18 times. Now, a part of that, there were two things. One, I am a through and through born and raised Star Wars fanatic. The second thing was, though, I was working as a producer and a client services guy at a special effects company, a 3D animation special effects company. And so when The Phantom Menace came out, and as much as I trash on the film, as much as I have grown to despise that movie, the reality is, from a technical point of view, the visual effects that were done in that movie. Now, everybody thinks they're cool, complaining they overuse CGI, and yeah, maybe that's true and all that kind of stuff, but the CGI in that movie was so groundbreaking, was so revolutionary. Like, we were all visual effects experts, like professionals, and we sat in that theater and we were just like, like it just blew us away. The fact that The Matrix, which was by far a better movie, the fact that The Matrix won Best Visual Effects that year is one of the biggest jokes in Oscar history. And I'm a big fan of the Oscars, but there was no way, the Oscar should have gone to The Phantom Menace. So for me, it's The Phantom Menace. Christian, what about you?
Well, Phantom Menace also, but I'm with you. I drank the Kool-Aid, though. I wasn't going
so
for
did
special
I, yeah.
effects. I was like, oh, no, it's good. I was defending it, and then I had...
So did I.
But
I did it for all 3 Star Wars prequels until I
Phantom
realized.
Menace was the one for me that I started. But right underneath that is Natural Born Killers. I saw Natural Born Killers about 5 times in the theater, and it was not because I wanted to be a serial killer, but the fact that I thought there was such an interesting message in there that a lot of people didn't get off the first
Because you
couple of
related
years.
with the film.
But no,
It felt like home.
I love the satire of it.
Yeah,
A lot
it's
of people
very
didn't play
satirical.
into that. They didn't really pick up on it. And when I saw it, I just thought it was so fascinating. And I'd never seen anything done, so that one.
Don, what about you?
Well, I am older than dirt, so I did see The Empire Strikes Back about 6 times in the theaters.
Wow.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And just
Good one.
because, and why not? Why wouldn't you want to see The Empire Strikes Back 6 times in the theater, as long when you had the chance?
I'm not ashamed to say it that while you were sitting in The Phantom Menace, for me it was The Matrix. I saw The Matrix, I think, 5
Yeah.
or 6 times in theaters because I think that was the movie that I saw for me that just changed my idea of what film could be because it was at the same time as it was an action movie and very entertaining and very violent, lots of guns and stuff, and amazing action sequences. It was very, very deep commentary about basically existential philosophy. So it had this like completely in unison marriage of very fun action with a very deep question that you walk away going, what would I do? Would I take the red pill or the blue pill? And I love that about that film. I saw it a lot.
And then in also descending order, my number 2 most viewed movie was Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, which I saw 13 times. The first Thor movie, which I saw 9, and the first Independence Day, which I saw 7 times in theaters.
My goodness.
No
wonder AMC hired you. They're like, he's our biggest ticket buyer.
What about you, Chris Lee? What movie have you seen the most in theater? Do you
You know,
think?
it's funny. I was sitting here trying to think, and I can't remember in the past how many times I saw movies, but as of recently, I don't always get to see them more than once. And the past 2 films that I saw a lot were The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, which I saw 5 times, and Begin Again, which just opened, and I've already seen it 5 times in theaters. So those are my 2.
I thought you were going to say good luck,
recent.
Chuck.
And here's the other thing with me. It's like I see a lot of movies multiple times because I'm one of these guys where not only if I like a movie, I will go back and watch it again and again. But I'm also a guy that I love watching a movie I enjoy with people who haven't seen it yet. So like I've already seen 22 Jump Street 4 times in theaters. The first time was just for me, but the second time I was with a buddy. Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Let's go! And then the third time was the same thing, and the fourth time was the same thing.
Are you the guy,
really love it.
like has the jokes coming? You're like, waiting for him to laugh.
Don't
All
you
right,
get
what's
a little
next?
jealous too when you bring somebody that
Yes.
hasn't seen it for the
Yeah.
first time? Like you want to rewatch it for the first time again?
yes.
Yeah.
Ugh, all right. James Walsh writes, "Hey AMC, keep up the great work. You have talked about your top 5 best comic book movies. I was just wondering, what are your top 5 worst comic book movies?"
Okay,
many.
I
Dun,
should have
dun.
prepared a list and I didn't. I'm just
There
going
are
to go
so
off the top. I'm sure I'm going to change my list as you guys start to give your answers.
I have a
Okay,
few.
the king of all of them is Catwoman.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think for me. Oh look, they even picked it. And then of course,
And then Batman and
good
Robin.
job, Jonathan is our new tech guy, and he did a great job. Yeah. The next one there would be Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
And then for me, Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3. As much as I loved and worshipped the other ones. Oh, you guys start answering.
I'll give you one. Daredevil.
I like the original
on!
Daredevil.
I have a couple.
I did. I like the original. You take out that god-awful teeter-totter fight scene, and
Yeah.
I think that's a really solid comic
I
movie.
mean, look, Batman and Robin is horrendous, but it's
yeah.
one of the best comedies in the last 15 years.
Not intentionally,
No,
but
but
yes.
it's hysterical. So I mean, yeah, it's a bad comic book movie.
Cool off.
How about
Green Lantern is one.
Yeah, Green Lantern is great,
Green
but
Lantern.
I didn't hate Green Lantern. I was
it's
disappointed
not
by it. I
good.
didn't like
yeah,
it.
but
No,
have
it's
you
not
guys
good.
seen
Yeah.
the Captain America that came out in 1990? 'Cause
It's
that-
gold.
Yeah. If we start going back,
Remember the red skull in that
is-
one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's embarrassing. But it's one of those movies that yes, maybe it's so terrible that it actually crosses over into the realm of genius. That was one for me. Jonah Hex was awful. I'm sorry.
Jonah Hex was barely a movie. I mean, it
was-
was barely made.
Yeah,
You know,
it was
like-
so bad
Yeah.
that
Do you know
I-
the story behind it? Okay, so the 2 guys who introduced me to my wife, actually, wrote that film and are supposed to direct it. Mark Neville, Dean, Brian Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
They're supposed to direct that. They had dreamed about doing this. They were going to go hard R, Jonah Hex, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I don't know if this story is public knowledge, so I'm just going to shut up.
Well,
at
Wolverine
this point.
Origins is another one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wolverine Origins was
That's
that?
not a great
Speaking
one.
of your boys there, Ghost Rider 2, actually
Oh,
both
yeah.
Ghost
Both of
Rider
them, but
movies.
2
I actually thought
worse.
Ghost Rider 2 was a little bit better than Ghost Rider 1.
Oof.
They're both-
Only because of Idris Elba. That's
Not
about it.
much. Not much.
That's about it.
Any others we can think of off the top?
I just, when I saw that question, I was like, Captain America was the first one I thought of, obviously the old one.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Jonah Hex.
Was Aeon Flux a comic book?
Yeah, no, well.
I don't think it was.
No, it was
was
a series. I used to watch
It was
the
a series,
series.
yeah.
It was disappointing, the movie.
You know, if you really want to
sure.
go back in time, and this is the movie that, like, this is the very first Marvel movie was Howard the Duck.
Oh, good
Best
call.
movie ever.
Great call.
I also thought.
What about that Fantastic Four movie that never
That's
actually
the
The
Yeah.
Roger
Yeah.
Corman
The
one,
Roger
yeah, which you
Corman
can
one.
watch on YouTube.
Bad.
Oh yes.
I know that some people defend it, but I can't stand The Last Stand either. X-Men 3.
Yeah, who
it's
defends it?
I just the end. I just don't understand how Magneto's hideout is in the woods when his power is metal. It makes no sense.
Lots of ore. Lots of ore in the ground. I don't know. Because this is the last place to look for
Or
this.
you're so Canadian, I love it. Lots of
All
or.
right, folks. Well, I said we would leave a few minutes at the end of the show for your live questions. We're going to do just that. You might have time to sneak in one. Tweet us at AMC Movie News. Make sure you follow us on there, too, if you're a Twitter user. So, Crystalie, what have you picked out?
Ash Arnold says, hey guys, love the show. Have you heard the rumor of the Deadpool Comic-Con teaser trailer, and what do you think?
Deadpool Comic-Con teaser trailer? No.
No.
False.
No, there's nothing happening
No,
with that.
no, absolutely false. Okay, what's next?
All right, Brian says, if Guardians of the Galaxy means 2014 is the best year for comic book movies, do you agree that 2016 could destroy 2014 with Captain 3, Batman vs. Superman, X-Men, and possibly Doctor Strange?
Yep.
Yeah.
The potential's there. It all depends, right?
Yeah.
Look, we know. We know the next Captain America is going to be awesome because it's the same team, and Captain America 2 was off the chain. When you start talking about Batman and Superman, well, that's the wild card. We don't know. We have high hopes, but the fact of the matter is, despite that there are some people like me who totally loved what Zack Snyder did with Man of Steel, there are a lot of people who did not. So we're going to have to see how that works out. Doctor Strange is going to be a very different film for Marvel. So the potential's there, but there's a lot of also very big question marks.
Well, it's also very important that one of those question marks is how 2015 pans out for Marvel. Like, we hope Avengers 2 is going to be great. I'm encouraged and think that it will be. And then Ant-Man, everything's going on with Ant-Man. That obviously plays into the universe. So if Ant-Man doesn't deliver in the way we want it to, that could make us go a little skeptical about going into the universe. I don't think it will, but there's a lot of possibilities of things that have to happen first.
Don?
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange is going to be another big gamble for Marvel in a lot of ways because it's going into a realm that audiences have not seen before, just like Guardians is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, too, we don't know for sure that Guardians is going to be a surefire hit.
Oh, no, not
I
at
mean,
all.
I think it looks amazing. I'm hoping it will be. But we don't know if audiences are going to respond to that because it's another big roll of the dice for Marvel. So really, every year has potential wild cards going in, but certainly 2016 has the potential to be massive, but even bigger gambles because with Batman v Superman and with Strange. Yeah. And I think Captain America 3 is a surefire winner. And what was the other one for 2016? We mentioned 4. I forgot what the fourth one was.
Batman vs Superman,
X-Men.
Captain.
X-Men Apocalypse.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, I think that
I think X-Men Apocalypse is going to be another surefire hit.
Yeah.
I just realized I said off the chain, which I don't think I've ever done in my life. I'm watching too much Guy Fieri on the Food Network. Okay, Miri, what do you think?
Yeah, you guys have said it all. I think it's these questions are fun because we can analyze and think about, but at the end of the day, the proof's going to be in the pudding. We're going to just have to wait and see. But I do like these kinds of questions because they get us all talking.
All right, 2 more real quick.
Victor Yang wants to know what your favorite Godzilla movie has been.
Honestly, the newest one.
Yeah.
I have fond memories of all the originals. I really do. I grew up watching them, but I was, unlike a lot of other people, I was really quite happy with it. It had its flaws. It had its absolute flaws. I'm not going to deny them. But by the time I walked out of the theater, I was really happy. So that's it for me.
As far as how he looked, absolutely.
Yeah.
As far as mine, I just have Godzilla 1985 for me. It's still just
Really?
I know it's not the best, but as a kid, it was the one that really I watched over and over and over again. Is it the best movie? Maybe not, but it's nostalgia for me.
Don?
I always go back to 1954, the very first, the original Godzilla, as they called it in Japan. Not with Raymond Burr. The original Japanese cut is a very, very unsettling and powerful movie.
Yeah, that's the only one I've seen actually, other than the new one. I didn't see the one in the '80s, so I liked the original because I saw it like in film school and with all that stuff around it. But I did like the new one. I thought it was a great reintroduction for a new audience that hasn't seen any of the previous ones and need to understand more about Godzilla. I thought it was a good representation of the monster himself.
All right, last question of the day.
Natalia wants to know what your favorite childhood movie was.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
I mean,
the same
it
answer.
was, I've told the story before, but it might literally, without hyperbole or anything, my earliest childhood memories, my mom having me watch Star Wars for the first time. And without exaggeration, it literally shaped my life. Actually, last night, I'm a grown-ass man. Last night, me and a bunch of my adult-ass friends were talking about how we're going to get together in a couple weeks and play the Star Wars tabletop pencil and dice role-playing game. That's how big of an influence. I might even put a webcam on that and broadcast.
Funny, my phone did not ring for that one.
I will be in touch with you about that. So yeah, for me it's Star Wars. What about you, Mary?
Oh, totally different. I mean, I have a couple that I wore the tape out on. Wizard of Oz, I actually watched, I think 100 times as a child. You're gonna laugh, but I had a thing for like MGM era musicals when I was little, so I loved like Meet Me in St. Louis and White Christmas.
You're a weird kid.
I was a weird kid. I liked that stuff, but West Side Story was big in my house. I loved that movie. I watched Annie till the tape wore out. But really, the one that I remember really loving and adoring and cherishing is The Princess Bride. For me, that was my movie.
A movie that does not get the credit today that it still deserves.
love
Is one of the all-time classics.
beautiful.
What about you guys?
Star Wars for me for sure, but you know, one after talking about Natural Born Killers, now telling you this one, I used to watch Rambo 2 all the time. And Princess Bride was one I really enjoyed as
Princess
well.
Bride's so good.
I loved it so much.
E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark, and there's all the Indiana Jones.
You know, whenever Princess Bride comes up, I try to tell people, because next to nobody saw it, watch Stardust.
Yeah,
Watch
that's
Stardust. It is the new Princess Bride. Nobody watched it and whatever. I love that movie.
It went under the radar completely.
Very much, and I thought it was great. Don, what about you?
We were just talking about this before the show. For me, it was the original Planet of the Apes movies.
Right.
They had such an impact on me when I was a kid, and even though they're not all great movies, except for maybe the first one, the cumulative effect of all 5 of them and the way they tell that story, and it forms this big loop, and the ape makeup and all the crazy imagery. I mean, they just hugely impacted me when I was a kid.
All right, folks. Somebody in the chat board saying John's geek power now reached 9,000. Okay,
I'm a little disappointed nobody said Harry and the Hendersons. I'm just going to throw that out there.
adored that movie.
No one said it.
Too.
You did.
Yeah, that's right.
Good call.
All right, folks, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Listen, don't forget, a lot of great movies playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and your movie ticket information. If you want to listen to an audio-only broadcast of the show, look in the description of this video and you'll find links to our podcast so you can listen to us on the way to work. And also, don't forget, if you've not done so already, take a second and click on that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel, keeping you up to date on everything going on in the world of movie news, including all of our shows. And listen, click that thumbs up button as well. It's just a good way of letting other people and us know that you actually like the shows that we're doing. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting to my left, Miss Miri Jedikin. Miri, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Miri the Jedi.
Mr. Christian Harloff. Christian, where can people find you?
Twitter at Christian Harloff, and then my Facebook page, Schmoes Know.
And of course, our special guest today, thanks for coming back, Mr. Don Kay. Don, where can people find you?
Twitter at Don K, Donkaye, and Facebook, same thing.
And our lovely host today, the gatekeeper, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on all the social medias at Chrisley.
And you can find me on the social media networks just at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.